Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Daily Teachings. Before we start, quick disclaimer, anything we discuss is just for educational purpose only, nothing is financial advice. Alright guys, great start of the week, bullish, the Mag 7, the S&Ps were pretty bullish all day. Today I want to talk about how to identify the strong sectors, right? The bullish sectors, S&P, QQQs, IWM was a weak. A lot of sectors were weak. The hard themes were selling off today, so they were short opportunities. So you need to know what sectors are strong, is the bullish move happening, where you're going to make money with the long setups, and which are the setups you're going to avoid on the long side, and maybe take some short setups, right? Also, the software stocks were also strong today. So I know, of course, we're going to discuss our big trades on silver, the crazy breakout that's happening right now. Before we start, let's do a quick introduction. Anybody who's new to our X accounts, new to our YouTube, or just a new member of the community. We trade a repeatable system called Ripster Cloud System that is used by thousands of traders across the world to trade consistently. I've been teaching this system and a lot of my concepts for trading, day trading, swing trading, investing over 8-9 years now on X and on YouTube, and also on my free website ripstereducation.com. You can go to ripstereducation.com. You can see how many lives have been changed with my free education. We use the same system in our community, Tanner Trade Group, one of the largest live trading communities online. We use this system there every day. We have a repeatable setups which I teach in thousands of my YouTube videos, shorts. I teach you guys that. Of course, we have a lot of webinars and PowerPoints that I have where I teach these setups. System is how you trade, setup is what you trade. So how you define these setups? So we make a pre-market plan. Me and my team, we are up early in the pre-market. We go through the news plays, the Mag 7s, the earning plays. We look at what are the setups. I highlight anything which is high probability as a long setup. So I highlight any plays which are which I think are more important to focus on, so that the traders can focus on those setup. Most of my traders, they know my system, so they take the game plan and they can, of course, trade the setup, keeping our losers small, winners big. But of course, I'm going to recap everything. I'm live in the community. I'm on the live voice the first few hours, and I'm on the live screen all day long, showing the traders the live trades, how to trade these setups, and with the live voice guidance. In addition to that, we have many other setups, many repeatable strategies. We give the strategy and the plan to the traders in the pre-market. We give this day to day 3 sheet as well for the traders. They can trade the day to day 3 setups. We provide these levels for indexes. We provide this level for indexes, Mag 7s, so the traders can trade those. We also trade futures. We provide the future levels which can be traded with Ripster Clouds. In addition, we also have crypto stocks. We share the crypto watch list as well, so traders, if the Bitcoin is running or heavy, you can trade that. We also trade IPOs. We have a low float room. We trade low float. We use a lot of tools. Today we also had a breaking news as well. We trade those breaking news setups. We trade those breaking news setups because we have 3 option flow scanners, stock scanner, breaking news alerts, breaking news audio squawks. We have order flows. We have MOC. A lot of tools. We have our tools which are $500-600 a month, which are freely available to the traders in the community to use freely in the community. Anyways, that was a quick introduction. Let's start. I'm going to show you the setups we trade in the community, what was my live time-stamped guidance on those, and then we will, so that you guys can also learn those setups and trade them independently. Of course, if you want to join the community, feel free, but let's start with the today's recap. All right, we're going to start with SPY QQQ. Pretty bullish day on SPY QQQ all day long. You just had to buy and hold for SPY QQQ, ES futures, NASDAQ futures, or option traders. It was a pretty solid day. Let's look at my guidance here. What was my guidance today on the market? So the plan on the SPY. Market gapping up, big earnings week. Watch VIX level 1650, 1680 today. Long the market if the previous day close. If the previous day close holds, so that's PDC is the previous day close. 1650 breaks, we're gonna long the market. Watch the Magnificent 7. Be careful of the chop. Both of them are trading over the 1 hour clouds. You see that QQQ was trading over the MTF clouds, and of course SPY was also trading over the 1 hour MTF clouds. So you can see that I have covered this setup extensively, so I'm going to go a little faster. So if you're new to my videos, so maybe it's for you to learn, but those who watch my recaps, I have covered the same exact setup, live setup, hundred of times. So anyways, as you see in the morning 9:30, the VIX started to reject right at the open. That's why I told the trader amateur longs. Amateur longs is the initial move long, and then we'll see what happens at the 10 a.m. So I told the traders, if if you push over the Friday highs, that's your target. QQQ was also target. Yesterday high was the target. If we hold over yesterday highs or Friday highs, we're going higher. That's the concept. If you hold over the previous day higher, you're going higher, and you have to hold your longs there as well. So anyways, as you see that I told the traders that we need to hold Friday highs, flag at 10 a.m. This was a 10 a.m. flag, hold it. QQQ still flagging, and then from there on, QQQ ran from 623 all the way to 627. SPY ran from 690.50 all the way to 694. 100% on the options. If you traded $1,000 worth of options, you made $1,000 or $1,500. Similar thing on future trades. Yes, you can trade those as well, breaking out of the Friday highs, hold it long. Same thing for QQQs, so and Nasdaq futures. So the thing is, you need to make sure there's no chop. And some of the days will chop, but today was a trend day. We were lucky to have this trend day, so we could hold the trade all day long. As long as the Ripster clouds hold, you hold it. That's how you trade SPY. That's how you trade QQQs. We used our VIX strategy here. We used the pre-market highs, previous day close, previous day highs. We use all those levels. Of course, we trade on the 10-minute candles, and we hold as long as the 10-minute candles keep making higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and we hold it all the way to our targets. So that's how you do that on the SPY, QQQ, ES, and Nasdaq futures. But something I want to cover today is on the sectors, right? So why was SPY QQQ running? Because the Mag 7s, the Magnificent Sevens, which are the biggest stocks in the stock market, which actually move the market, they were strong today. Most of them, not all of them. So let's start with Apple. So Apple was strong. Google was super duper strong, 1 hour MTF long. Meta was a decent. Microsoft was strong, 1 hour MTF breakout, and we also had a news on Microsoft. Amazon was choppy, Nvidia was choppy, but those four names were super pretty strong, and which they were pushing SPY. So if you look at our Apple plan in the pre-market, I told the traders that we're gonna long the Apple because JP Morgan as a price target raise. I made it a red. I said 1 hour MTF push, look for clouds to hold for a long bias. No go under 250. So that was the long bias. So as soon as this candle pushes over the 512 pre-market highs, you long it and you hold it long. Of course, it undercut 512s and reclaim, but that was the long, and that was helping SPY as well. You can see that I gave the 253.80 stops, and on that it actually held all day long. Microsoft was similar. Was Microsoft over Friday highs. I told the traders to watch the curls on Mag 7s, breaking the MTF clouds. You buy here, put your stops on the clouds. Breaking over the MTF cloud, you hold it. And this is where we had a breaking news alert. I tweeted about it as well, that Microsoft is making its own chip, and then it really ran from that news in our community that we caught, and it ran from there as well. Microsoft here, let's take a look here. So Microsoft did really good from that news push, breaking news, and then it ran from 470 all the way to 473.62. So Microsoft was a pretty good, and it was actually running on Friday as well, so somebody always knows there's a news coming. So really did good. So that's the Mag 7s, right? So you know that those are strong. There were some weak names. For example, Tesla was weak, but that alone couldn't impact the market. Tesla was an MTF short here. You can see that it was an MTF short. Let me show you here what was the plan on Tesla. MTF confluence. If breaks 443, no go. So when you see that 443 breaking down, it's a no go. You can short it. You can short it versus the MTF clouds, multiple MTF clouds, and you could ride it all the way down for the short setup. Pretty clean setup, nothing too much to discuss here. You can watch the playlist, Tesla Trade for Living. So Ripster Clouds will tell you what is a long setup and what is a short setup, or what is the setup you need to leave. So you see the Tesla was trading under all the MTF clouds, the confluence that I mentioned in the pre-market. So you do not touch it long, because if you touch it long, you most probably going to lose money there. But the long setups like Microsoft breaking out, Apple, which had a news, and those were your long setups, and Microsoft, Apple. So this is how you identify what is strong. This is how you make sure if Mag 7 is strong, if the market would continue to run. Sometimes Mag 7s are not strong. Definitely SPY QQ is weak. Banks are weak. And let's look at this. Let's look at the QQQs now. So if you will look at the QQQs, it was a software sector which was strong today, which was pushing. So we have our software stocks list that we trade. So I was looking at the big software names today. If you start with start with CRM, which was not, it was bullish, but it was a very choppy trend. But lot of other names today were really bullish in the Nasdaq. DOCN, Net, Twilio, RBRK, which is one of good investing names I've been talking about. DDOG, Team, MDB. MDB was really nice. Now, Workday. So all these were strong. So the software sector, you could also track it with ETF called Cloud, or something. You see the Cloud ETF. So CLOU ETF. So that was strong, and that's part of the Nasdaq. If that is strong, that tells me the QQQ is strong. So I can hold the QQQs. Also, software names were pretty beaten down. If you look at, let's see if I can show you that. The chart of the cloud ETF. If you see that the ETF was beaten down, this is a software cloud ETF. It was beaten down, but one bullish day, consolidation candle, and another bullish day. You see how the recovery, it did the recovery all the way from 20. So today this big green candle tells me that there was a bullish trend in this sector. Now you could trade pick up anything from that sector long. It would have worked for you. CrowdStrike was pretty good. Net, I just talked about other names like Rubrik. So you could find the leaders which are strong. So keeping the QQQ strong to find your swing opportunities, your day opportunities. Of course, if you want to day trade, you could just day trade them. The clouds, for example, RBRK was breaking out of the 1 hour MTF clouds, pushing nicely. So that's a lesson for you to how to analyze different sectors. I also have a webinar on the market analysis webinar, couple hours webinar, which was pretty good. I did it on X, and it's also part of the community. You should really watch it, so you know what sectors are strong. Now, if the softwares were strong, but the hotties were weak. So what are the hotties? Hotties is basically IWM, the smaller companies which need a lot of money, loan. They need money to grow. They're not proven companies. They are mid cap, $1 billion, maybe less, few $1 billion. So that comes in IWM. So they were weak today. So there was no long in IWM. We did long it in the morning. We actually longed IWM from 264 to that 264 to, let's see here, yeah, 264 to 266. You can see that we did long it. I gave the long at the open and it was okay, but then we stopped out right here, and then after that it's dumped. So what that tells you is that IWM was weak. So when IWM is the weak, all these sectors which are the upcoming companies, which are, you can call them high PE ratio, they're going to sell off, right? So a lot of things were selling off today. Rocket Lab, all day sell off. ONDS, IONQ, which we'll discuss later, ASTS, QBTS, the quantums, the drones, the air taxis, the nuclears, all those hot sectors which we have been running lately were weak today. So then you do not need to buy them because the sector is weak. Yes, you could short them. You could definitely short QUBT today. You could short NNE. You could literally short Oklo today, easy short, and they were weak all day. So that tells you that the market participants, the market today just want to sell them. Right? There was no interest in those. So that's how you have to analyze, these sectors. You see IWM is heavy. You could see that we have the watch list. We have all the watch lists that I go through hundreds of tickers live in the community. So like I just showed you the Hottie watch list. I call it Hotties. And that was weak. So there was no reason to be long, but there was opportunity to short them. That's how we had all these lot of these names on our plan, Rocket Lab and all those IREN, which were weak names that we were short in the community today, right? So looking at other names like PLTR, which dumped later in the day as well. So that's how you analyze different sectors, so you stay on the right side. Today was a green trade for us on the long side because we focused on the max 7 and SPY QQQs. Of course, a lot of traders did some shorts on these IWM and smaller names, made some money there. But the key is to understand where is the bullish flow, where is the bearish flow, because if you do not do that, then you're not sure like what you are trading is going to work out or not, if you're on the right side of the trend or not. So that's how you do the sector analysis, guys, and you understand. That's how you understand where to be, where your setups are, and so that you could make some profitable trades with the trend and understand where the money is flowing. All right, so let's look at some other trade setups which we had in the community today. Let's start with APP here. So APP was our big trade today in the community. Too bad it did not like hold up all day long, but it was in the morning, 10 a.m., 9:30 a.m. trade. Let's take a look here. So APP got an upgrade, 700 price target, 1 hour MTF long setup. So that was the pre-market plan on APP. So what is 1 hour MTF? So this is 1 hour MTF Ripster Clouds right here. So this is a 1 hour MTF long Ripster Clouds long setup. So when I saw it holding the 1 hour Ripster MTF cloud and holding it, I told the trader it's long, bought it at 537. My risk was right at the cloud. It was a $5 risk here for me. Of course, a lot of traders were trading the calls. You could also trade, you could trade the APPX, the leverage ETF. I told the traders to trade. So anyways, right in the morning from the 537s, it hit 558. So we got almost over $20 and risking like $3-4. That's a good risk reward. And of course at the 10 a.m. time we take some off, so if we take profit. It pulled back, held the clouds, and then finally broke down. It did hold the clouds so far, held it, pushed towards 550. This is where we exited it. So we still exited in the green trades and where we entered, but the main trade was right at the open. You could see that my entry there as well, 537, and 550 was the breakout I gave the traders. Once we break the 550, we hit 558. It was a beautiful trade. We were targeting 560, but we did not hit it. Because sometimes the stocks will make a top of the day at 10 a.m. The 10 a.m. candle will be top of the day. So that's nothing surprising. So, but it did break down here, right here, and we were out of it. And I told the traders that exit that under that. And once it breaks down, if you hold, you're going to lose a lot. But if you respect the Ripster Clouds, you see we exited here 544.50s. It went to 530s. We saved a lot of money, a lot of pain. So that's why you trade the Ripster Clouds, use the MTF Cloud setup, look at what is the news, upgrade, downgrade, trade either this is 9:30 morning setups, midday call, which didn't really go too much, but should have been a easy setup for us this morning. Let's go to the next one. So next one, we're going to look at CRWV. Same thing on the CRWV. It made a high at 10 a.m. right? It was a morning trade, but it did not push further after 10 a.m. So this was you have to be right in at the open. So I told the traders to long it using the stops at 102. CRWV ran from that 103 longs all the way to 108.65. Right, so let's see how the options ran there on CRWV today. Let's take a look at the 101 calls. They ran from $5 to $10, 100% there. So the key is similar to APP. We did not really hold after 10 a.m. So we didn't have an all-day runner. But regardless, if you look at our game plan here in the pre-market, let's take a look at CRWV game plan. Let's go here. So core V plan, Nvidia invest 2 billion, trade versus 100 psychological level, bullish bias, no go if breaks 512. So as you see that it was 100 psychological level, it held the clouds. That's why I told the traders it's a long, stops under 102s, and then you see the first candle I gave I gave the guidance right at the open. By end of the 940 candle we hit on 109, so you would have to be fast at the open. It pulled back, held the pre-market highs, bounced back to 106, but then made a lower high. So that's a warning signal that we need to get out. So then finally it broke down here and we got out of the rest. We did take 60% profit on the top, but and then once it breaks 512 we get out. And sometimes we'll get an all day runner, but we did not get it this time. But it's important to understand the concept on the 10 a.m. setup. You can see I told the traders to exit when we broke here. You can see how traders traded successfully APP, Murli traded successfully APP, Core Weave, Diva did pretty good, Clint sold it at 108, Frying Pan was looking for 110, we did not get it, Day Tradesman had 102 entry. So you see there was a successful trades the traders were making, even at this is called the opening 9:30 to 10 a.m. long trades. All right, so let's look at next. We're going to look at silver and AGQ. Silver. So as we know that, let's look at the daily chart first here on silver. This is silver futures. So we're going to look at the silver futures first, and then we'll go to that. So these are the silver futures. You can see that straight up for months, from days. Just this year on this month only, it's been up huge, just insane move, right? So also then silver ETF SLV that we trade, and huge volume. Look at this volume today, insane volume. So silver, this broke 100 psychological level today. So silver was on our game plan. Of course, I tweeted a bunch about it as well. Everybody's talking about silver. A lot of people are trying to short it. They do not understand silver. Even we do not understand silver. Silver is a real asset, tangible asset. It's not a stock company. It's not a paper. So there's a lot of macro behind happening, what China is doing, the availability, the future contracts to be delivered by banks. So there's a lot of going behind silver. So you can easily a ChatGPT Gemini can explain to you what's happening. But anyways, the point is we were ready with our plan. Silver parabolic long over 100 on the silver ETF. You could also trade a leverage ETF called PSLV. So look carefully at this game plan. That was the game plan given in the pre-market. Now AGQ is a leverage ETF which moves faster but moves with the silver. So the plan was to long over 353, no go under 345. So if we look at there, so how did we do it? How did we trade the silver and all that? So let's take a look here. So silver, I told the trader it's long over 100 psychological breakout. So the good thing about silver was that it only gave us two trade signals. First was long and then was short. So let's talk about the longs here. So you see that long was breakout of pre-market highs. I gave the stops at 99.50, and I also told the traders you could trade PSLV, which is a small account. It's a 35 bucks. It went to 38 bucks. You would make $3 there. So silver was long right over this 100 psychological level. Stops at 19.50, 50-cent stop, and ran all the way to 105. The options on silver, 101 calls, they went 500%. You could literally spend $1, $1,000, and by middle of the day, you could make $4,000. So that was the setup. That was a really good setup on the options and on the trading that silver. So we were trading CLV, we were trading PSLV, and we were also trading AGQ. And just like I said, we planned everything in the pre-market. So AGQ was a long right here as well. Following silver, you could take 100 shares all the way from 370 all the way to 411. Just insane amount of opportunities there. That's why they were top plays. I did make them red as well in the community. I made them, made them red on the silver and AGQ. So they were top watches for us. So anyways, this was my timestamp guidance. I told the traders to hold SLV, or you can also trade PSLV, AGQ for the big accounts, and AGQ gave us a lot of profits. I told the traders to lock some at 103, and same for the small account traders as well. Now once we were locking everything, we're doing everything, once it breaks 512, I told the traders break, exit. So when the Ripster clouds were breaking on silver, we exited it. I sent the price alerts, exit on silver, and then I also told the traders that you could short silver here. Let me show you there. So I was short right when it was breaking right here, when silver was breaking this 104 level. I started a short at 104, and we took it all the way down to 96. It was beautiful, beautiful, like $7-8 per share profit on the short side, and that was a silver. I also told my trader in the community that you could let's see here, yeah, so I told the traders I shorted small at the 512 break, and then time-stamped guidance. A lot of traders were shorting with us on the trading floor. The puts went from 82 cents to $3 in 20 minutes. So you see that how Ripster Cloud gives you both longs, and then it also gives you shorts. So you could long and you could short with Ripster Cloud. This was a long in the morning, get out of the long, short it, breaking 34.50, hold it, make money both sides, right? Or you could, same for AGQ, you could long AGQ, short here, PSLV, or you could trade the silver futures, right? Doesn't really matter, whatever you like to trade, whatever you're confident with, whatever makes sense to you, you trade that. But that's how we do not get stuck. We do not have a permanent bias. We change with the system. Ripster Cloud system is the best system, trading system in the world. It gives you pinpoint consistency and probability. If it did not break, what would I have lost? I would have covered it over like 105s. Maybe I would have lost $1. But look at that, I made $8 and even more if I held it later. But that was a trade here. You could see my timestamp long guidance, and this was my timestamped short guidance on that silver. All right, so let's look at some of the next setups here. RVMD was another one of the setups. We traded it before as well. So RVMD, I was busy with the market, but RVMD was a really nice gap down long setup. So let's look at the pre-market plan on RVMD. Mark buyout talks fall apart. You still need to understand the whole thing about this. RVMD, good company. It wanted more. Merrick didn't want to pay much, but it still tells us the investors still think it's value. If they wanted 30 billions, investors still think that it can be bought out for a good value, even if it's not Merck who are buying it. So anyways, you have to understand all those things. The plan on RVMD was support pivot, resistance pivot, trade versus daily MTF. I told the traders to call it over 95, calls over 95. So that was our game plan on RVMD. So as you see that it held 95, so I told the trader it's a call. I told them to use 92 stops. In the morning, I told them 92 stops on the long. And once it pushed to the gap, I told the traders it's in the gap. We moved the stops to 96.50. It pushed all the way to 99. So you see that from the 95 longs or 94 longs, 94 longs risking $2, you made like $5-6. So that was a call. You see the 512 calls holding the pre-market lows, breaking the pre-market high level in the gap, rejected, but this was your main trade. You could get out here, and when it's sideways, you could get out here as well. We'll be watching what does tomorrow, but that was a beautiful trade today. So we did have a loser today. Like I said, a lot of these smaller names were selling off today. So USAR, we were the long here versus 30 pullbacks. You add on this pullback at 30, and as soon as it breaks this level, you take a 50-cent loss and get out. So the plan on USAR, the Trump invested 1.6 billion, Trump admin 10% stake. Trade versus 1 hour MTF, neutral bias. So when USAR pushed over there, let's see. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, sorry, USAR long over 34.50. That was the plan. No go under 27 or no go under 30. So we were trying to long it over 30. This is the amateur candle, and that didn't work. And then we got out. If we did not get out, we would have lost a lot of money. It kind of filled a lot of gap, so that's why you need to respect the Ripster clouds there as well. Let's look at some other setups here as well. Let's see, we had Oracle 1 hour long setup. This was 1 hour MTF cloud long. You see this is MTF cloud breaking out, and I did I did mention Oracle as 1 hour MTF long setup, trade versus 1 hour MTF. So no hindsight again, guys. I gave the setup in the pre-market. It started working in the market. I told the trader this is 1 hour long. I gave the stops at 180.150. It ran all the way to 185.31. So Oracle was our 1 hour MTF setup. 1 hour MTF repeatable setup. All right, so let's look at another one here. A lot of other critical minerals were also gapping up here. Let's look at MP. So MP was a gap and crap, right? So what was the plan on MP? Let's take a look here. So MP, the plan was pretty straightforward. Sympathy play of USAR news, check critical bullish bias over 72 holds. And but as soon as it broke down here, it was a gap and crap. So I told the traders a gap and crap. It broke this, pushed to the first MTF target, and then ran to the MTF target. It was a monster short. I don't know, the market was just not loving any of these names today. You know, like I said, quantums, IWM was weak, nuclears, drones, everything was dumping, so that it makes it an A plus setup. We know it's weak, you know, we didn't expect it, you know, we always target the gap fill. But remember, if the stock is weaker even after the gap fill, it would go further down. So this was the MTF magnet, 3450 break, MTF, second MTF, beautiful. You know, that I gave the target of Friday lows on the gap and crap, but we got much more than that. You see that we gap and crap, we did hit Friday lows, and then we hit the MTF magnet there on MP gap and crap setup. So similar gap and crap, kind of gap and crap was the USAR. So let's see what else we did here in the community. So let's take a look at Google. Like I said, Mag 7 was strong. Google was 1 hour MTF long. I said 1 hour MTF longs, 512 calls, 1 hour MTF long. So 1 hour MTF pushed all the way. I gave the target of Friday highs. We even got higher than that. So that was that. Let's look at some other setups. Let's look at IONQ. IONQ was also on our game plan today. So everything is in a game plan, right? We follow the game plan. You see Google, I gave the game plan in the pre-market, 3450 call circuit, trade with the market, worked pretty nicely. So let's look at IONQ. They buy Skywater company, Skywater, which was part of our investing list as well. Congrats to the holders. IONQ do not long under MTF clouds. If hold 48 long, short the MTF rejects. Short the MTF rejects. So let's see what happened here. So INQ, what did he do? Pushed right into the MTF. Right into the MTF. It was a long into the MTF, completing the MTF magnet. MTF reject. Boom. Short. MTF break. Short. All the way. So you see the power of the MTF clouds right here. What I said in the pre-market planning. You see IONQ short the MTF rejects. So that's the beauty of the system, the beauty of Ripster Cloud. You could literally have a limit orders here by the puts, and that was a monster fade to the $42 today, because this sector was weak, right? This sector was super duper weak. Similarly, we had other short setup as well. ASTS was all day short right from the MTF clouds. Rocket Lab was also short setup. MTF cloud was a little further, but it completed the MTF magnet. So these were the repeatable setups, guys. You see how Ripster clouds and how MTF clouds give you high confidence setups, rejections, longs. You know, just start using this system. You are going to have a lot of monster winners. You're going to have big winners and small losers. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye bye.